This story is for those who have everything. Money, fame, success, yet still feel an unshakable emptiness within. It is for the ones who lie awake at night despite sleeping on the softest beds. For those whose minds are always racing, even in moments of silence. This story is not about losing or gaining. It is about remembering what peace feels like. Nothing is easy. If you're searching for stillness in a world that never stops, this journey is for you. There once lived a young man named Kael in the midst of a city so loud it could drown the thoughts in one's mind. The honking horns, the digital screens, the endless chase for success, it was all too much. He was successful by society's standards, wearing expensive suits, eating at places with hard to pronounce name, and living in a high rise that overlooked a concrete jungle. But none of it brought peace. In the depths of his heart, there was a strange emptiness that no possession could fill. His mind was a battlefield of expectations, comparisons, and regrets. One night, overwhelmed and desperate, he stumbled upon a video titled "All 3 Hours of Zen Stories and Buddhist Teachings for Complete Mental Relaxation." The thumbnail showed a monk, bald and serene, reading a glowing book in the stillness of night. Something inside Kael stirred a curiosity, or perhaps a long, forgotten yearning for calm. He clicked. What played next was not just audio. It was medicine for his soul. A calm voice reciting timeless Zen teachings, easy stories of monks who faced storms within and came out like still lakes, of seekers who journeyed far to find truths already inside them. That night, Kael didn't sleep with anxiety like usual. He slept like a child, empty yet whole. The next morning, he did something out of character. He packed a small bag, left a note at work, turned off his phone, and boarded a bus headed for the eastern mountains, where he heard there was a monastery that welcomed lost souls. The journey was quiet, no buzzing of emails, no vibrating calls, just the sound of tires on road and his own breathing. For once, he noticed the trees, the rhythm of clouds, the way people looked out the windows with stories behind their eyes. When he arrived, he was greeted by a monk named Ryoshi. "I know why you're here," Ryoshi said before Kael could speak. "But first, you must unlearn everything you know." Thus began Kael's immersion into the world of Zen Buddhism. At dawn, he woke to the sound of bells, not alarms. He cleaned floors, not for money, but to clear the dust of his mind. Easy, he sat in stillness for hours, struggling against thoughts like waves crashing against rocks, until he learned to simply observe without judgment. Ryoshi taught him the art of tea, not just as a drink, but as a meditation. Each drop, he said, was a lesson. It's not about the tea. It's about being with the tea. Over the days, Kael met others. A grieving widow, a young artist with crippling self-doubt, a man who left his millions for silence. Each came with burdens, and each slowly shed them like snakes outgrowing old skins. They didn't talk much. In the monastery, words were rare and sacred. Kael began to notice things he never did before. The way light filtered through leaves, the hum of bees, the smile of an old monk who had seen pain and joy as equals. Zen wasn't about running from the world. It was about seeing it clearly without the fog of ego and fear. One night, Kael sat with Ryoshi under the stars. "Why do we suffer?" he asked. "Because we cling," Ryoshi replied, "to what we think should be. Let go, and you'll float." That night, Kael cried for the first time in years. Not from sadness, but from release. He realized his anxiety came from fighting reality. Now, he was learning to flow with it. Dear viewers, if you feel even a small shift in your heart as you listen to this, subscribe to this channel, Moon Mind Temple. Where silence speaks louder than Kael had now spent 3 months in the monastery. He shaved his head not for ritual, but to feel reborn. One morning, Ryoshi gave him a task to walk alone into the deep forest for 7 days and return only when he found the answer to one question. Who am I when I am not what I think I am? With no food, no phone, and only a blanket, Kael entered the wilderness. The first day was fear. He heard noises, imagined beasts, and questioned everything. But slowly, the forest became his ally. He watched ants build kingdoms, listened to owls teach silence, and slept under the breath of trees. Time dissolved. On the 4th day, hunger burned in him. His body screamed, but his mind had quieted. He realized how much noise came not from outside, but within. He saw memories, regrets, and imagined futures parade like actors on a stage. He laughed. None of them were real. He wasn't his job. He wasn't his past. He wasn't even his name. On the 6th night, Kael sat by a river, watching the moon ripple in its flow. He whispered, "I am not this body. I am not these thoughts. I am what sees all this." And just like that, something shifted. The world didn't change. He did. When he returned, Ryoshi smiled. "You have tasted the truth. But remember, even truth must not be clung to." Kael stayed another year, learning more from silence than books ever taught him. He wrote letters to no one, stories filled with metaphors of frogs and falling leaves, the kind that speak to the soul. Eventually, it was time to leave. Go back, Ryoshi said, but not to chase. Go back to teach. Kael returned to the city, not as the same man, but as a mirror. Calm, grounded, present. He didn't speak much, but when he did, people listened. He began recording Zen stories and teachings on a simple microphone, uploading them under the name Moon Mind Temple. At first, no one noticed, but slowly, something magical happened. The world, starved for depth, began to listen. The channel grew, not because it chased views, but because it healed hearts. People from around the world wrote to him. A mother battling grief, a soldier with PTSD, easy, a student crushed by pressure. They all said the same thing. These stories saved me. Kael never claimed to be a guru. He was simply a traveler who returned with a lantern. And that lantern now lit the way for others in a world that runs faster every day. This channel became a place where people came to stop, breathe, and remember who they are beneath all the noise. A digital monastery. If you found even one moment of peace in this journey, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to Moon Mind Temple. Light your candle and pass it on. The world needs more light, not more noise.